And with the debate still raging over the next COVID relief package, we take a look at another group getting squeezed by this pandemic, America's small business landlords. ABC's Trevor Ault shows us how many are struggling to pay their own bills as rent payments dry up.
The coronavirus pandemic has upended our lives in countless ways, but the first of the month still comes calling at the same time, and rent is still due.
I'm behind on all of them, so I'm always robbing Peter to pay Paul and sold anything that I've had that's worth selling to try to make ends meet.
For nearly a year now, pandemic shutdowns have led to unprecedented job losses. Now more than 10 million Americans are unemployed, something real estate investor Andrew Lacey empathizes with.
If it comes between paying rent that they technically aren't forced to pay right now and feeding their children, I understand what they're going to pick. I can't be mad at that.
In January, more than 10 million people were estimated to be behind on rent and utilities. And since the start of the pandemic, more than $57 billion of rent and expenses have gone unpaid.
I can't do anything about it. $3,800 is a lot of money to me. I have to borrow money from people.
The CDC has taken extreme steps to protect renters, extending its moratorium on evictions until at least March. But that means the burden of those missed payments is frequently falling to the property owners, many of them struggling themselves.
You know, my husband also lost his job. So it used to be a supplemental income to our family, but now it is the main source of income.
Many believe that property owners are wealthy, and there are certainly a number of billion-dollar enterprises that could withstand stretches of missed payments. Mom-and-pop landlords manage more than 22 million properties in the U.S., and they're counting on the narrow margins they make from rent payments in order to get by.
The mom-and-pop segment has been hit especially hard. This is a group of individuals who have decided to, instead of putting their money in 401ks, they put it in real estate.
I can see people thinking of it as binary, whereas the property owner is the monopoly guy and the tenant is the guy who shines your shoes. And when it's a lot more of a graded scale.
Everybody talks about the institutional class. It's a very small percentage of the overall housing in this country.
One of those mom-and-pop landlords is Tammy Mason.
We have not received rent since March of 2020.
While working a full-time job and caring for her young son who's distance learning at home, she and her sister have been renting out the home they inherited from their father to support their 80-year-old mother. In the past year, she says she's lost out on $25,000 in costs.
The rent we received basically covered the day-to-day costs of owning a home, which is mortgage, utilities, insurance, property taxes, and any money left over was really to support and supplement my elderly mother's income.
Right. So this wasn't some kind of cash cow operation for you guys where you were snatching up houses and renting them up.
Yes, that is correct. There is a biased presumption that if you own a rental home, that you are by means considered wealthy.
Rental housing groups say on average only 10% of rental income ends up in the pockets of landlords, with the first 90% going toward mortgages, taxes, and maintenance.
If somebody misses that first month's rent, you're talking about, 8.3% of that profit going away. If they miss the second month, then you go into negative range.
And small-time landlords are what the industry refers to as naturally occurring affordable housing. If they're unable to make their mortgage payments, then the bank could foreclose on their property.
Unlike a big, commercial real estate company, I actually went to the bank and, got these mortgages in my personal name. The bank could foreclose on my properties, and then they could also go after my primary residence, all my life savings.
The latest COVID relief bill passed in December has earmarked $25 billion in rental relief, mostly going to renters to help make their payments, though Tammy says she's not eligible for those funds.
The only option that we were eligible to consider was the mortgage forbearance.
And Tammy and many of the landlords we talked to told us they don't view tenants who can't pay their rent as the enemy.
What the issue will be is that we're not able to sell the home with a potential fair offer if it is renter occupied.
You can't afford to keep it because you have renters there who aren't paying rent, but you also can't sell it to somebody else as long as somebody is still renting there.
That is correct.
She has no interest in kicking out families during a pandemic. She just doesn't want to be left footing the entire bill without government help. The Biden administration is trying to pass an additional $30 billion in relief funds in their $1.9 trillion stimulus bill, but the longer they wait, the deeper the hole for Tammy and millions of others.
And the longer this goes on, the meter is running, we're just going to see a bigger and bigger deficit occur.
For ABC News Live, I'm Trevor Ault.
Our thanks to Trevor for that very insightful report.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.